What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Bolero. Sam here with the Sultan of Sando, Mr. Sultan of Shersi. Sorry.
She's so Cersei,
Sultan of
yon. I thought you
Shersi.
would miss it.
Shersi. I missed that. Mr. Gablim. And coming all the way from... San ka ngayon, Maui? Bohol. All the way from Bohol.
Yung
Nakamute
nakamute
ka.
ka, Maui.
Mr. Maui Up. So please, pagbigyan niyo si Maui kung malabo yung audio or yung video or if he comes in and out of the podcast kasi the Wi-Fi is kind of spotty pero gusto pa rin namin ituloy yung podcast na to para sa inyo. Di ba, Maui? Okay. Hindi nga makasalita si Maui. It's that bad. But before we talk about the games from yesterday, kita nyo naman, meron tayong special sponsor for today. Suot namin ni Gab, modeling. The Shersies from Get Blued. Gab, take it away.
This episode is brought to you by our friends from Get Blued. So yes, the Ateneo Blue Eagles are in a 4-game losing streak. But what better way to continue to support them? And they need our support more than ever by purchasing your own Team Ateneo jersey. Customizable. If I can just show my back, my jersey number at Lim surname ko yung sa likod. So,
Dapat Sando, Gab eh.
dapat Sando pero walang Sando na available eh. Yung ayoko naman i-cut out, 'di ba? For baka magalit yung sponsor natin yung kinupit ko na agad yung yung jersey na yung binigay nila. But yes, a Team Ateneo jersey brought to you by Get Blued. Get Blued, the long-time merchandiser and sponsor of the Ateneo Blue Eagles. Tagal na sila na nagpo-produce ng Ateneo merch. So if ever you guys want to purchase and continue to support, because the Ateneo Blue Eagles desperately need our support, you can check out their website. The link is in the description below, and you can use our code Boleros to get 10% off your order. So hindi lang yan pang basketball. Remember, may volleyball season pa in the second sem. So get yourselves some Team Ateneo jerseys and some merchandise from Get Blued.
Perfect gift for your special someone this coming holiday. Use your 10% voucher. Use the code Boleros. All right. Let's try to get through this as best as possible kahit na medyo spotty ang internet ni Maui. Maui, just feel free to butt in kapag maganda yung signal mo. Let's talk about the Ateneo FEU game. Another banger of a game. Every time we see Ateneo versus FEU, it seems like it's always going to be a close game or an overtime
curse is
game.
back! The curse is back!
Ateneo losing.
It lasted
to
one
FEU.
game.
It lasted one game. They've lost 5 of their last 6 against FEU. Joric Bautista, tama na please. Nakakasakit ka na. Killing Ateneo once again with his clutch shots. Gab, ano yung reaction mo from that game? I know you got a double L yesterday. Your Lakers, our Lakers losing. Our Lakers losing and Ateneo losing their games yesterday. So, how did you feel and ano reaction mo from this FEU versus Ateneo game? FEU is up there. They're contending. They're fighting.
Yes, I'll answer the question later of how I felt while watching the game. But I do want to give credit first to the FEU Tamaraos. And I know Joric Bautista actually grabbed the headlines for this game, hitting those 2 clutch threes to essentially seal the deal against Ateneo Blue Eagles and deliver the win. But Janray Pasaol and Mo Conate had their fingerprints all over this game.
That's my baller of the first round.
Yep. Joric, again, had 20 points, top scored, big shots, Mr. Clutch, deservedly so. But Janray Pasaol, let's go first to Janray. He was just carving up the Ateneo defense. 15 points, 5 rebounds, 13 assists, and 2 steals. The LeBron-esque numbers continue for Janray Pasaol. He was getting to the lane. He was drawing fouls. He was dishing to Mo Konate, he was dishing to Kirby Moncopa, he was dishing to wide open shooters. He was just orchestrating this FEU offense perfectly. And he's been doing this the entire season. I said this in our Ballers and Boleros episode. I didn't think he would continue to do this after game 1 of season 88, but he has continued to. Yesterday's game was just another cherry on top of the sundae of what has become an amazing season for John Ray Pasaol. And grabe, his vision and his reading of the defensive coverages put on him just miles and miles away from what we saw in season 87. He would go in the lane, attract 2 defenders, that's just know when to kick it out of the corner, when to kick it out to the top of the key, knowing when to lob to Mo Konate. Ang galing. I think it showed. 13 assists is it's not an easy feat. Sobrang hirap magka 13 assists, especially in a UAP game. Especially when you're the focus of nearly an entire perimeter defense. I go next to Mo Konate. He dominated inside, and rightfully so, because Ateneo was small. They had no answer for Mo Konate. Another big game, 15 points, 17 rebounds. Kinabahan ako for a while. I thought he had injured himself twice. I think that's just twice he fell down to the floor. Akala ko na injure siya. Because honestly, an injury to him would be devastating for the FEU Tamaros, but he fought on. Hopefully he's fine for the next game, but grabbing offensive rebounds, inside points, and especially very important, drawing the defense into the paint. And I think that goes underrated for Mo Konate in yesterday's game, because honestly, those 2 threes hit by Joric were a result of what Mo Konate did. The first was an offensive rebound by Mo Konate. He kicked it out to Joric Bautista. The second was he just had to be in the paint, and then there were 2 Ateneo defenders right there trying to shadow him, which left Joric Bautista wide open in the corner for the 3. He may not have had the assist, but definitely it was a result of the presence of Mo Konate. Galing. And I don't want to overshadow also si Kirby Moncopa, who had also had an amazing game. He continues to impress after being out for two years plus. So the top 4 definitely showed out for FEU. I was impressed with the play calling of Sean Chambers. And I do want to give a shout out to one guy who probably didn't score much. He scored only 2 points. But Luke Felipe, I thought, did an awesome job on Kimani Ladi. And he was the guy guarding Kimani Ladi in their first round encounter.
He was also good in the first round.
Yeah, and the stat sheet here, yung doesn't show it, but he gave fits to Kimani Ladi. And I go now to Ateneo. This is how most UAAP teams are trying to cover Kimani Ladi. They're trying to cover him with long, athletic players. They're not trying to guard him with the big centers, the FSAs. They're trying to, except si Omar Jan and si Francis Noruka, but they're mostly trying to take him out of his preferred spots, which is the mid-range jump shots and the wide open 3-point shots. Because if you guard them with non-mobile bigs and bigs who don't want to be out on the perimeter, he'll get wide open threes. I think you saw that against UST. It was mostly si Jello Crisostomo guarding him. You saw it here. Si Luke Felipe was the one guarding him. Made it very difficult for Kimani Ladi to get any shot off. And I mean, he only took 4 shots, I think, in total in this game. So that was definitely a very difficult coverage for Kim Manladi, and it's showing in the past 4 games, the past 4 losses for the Ateneo Blue Eagles. As to how and to answer your question, Sammy, as to how I felt, masakit. Definitely disappointed. Another close loss for the Ateneo Blue Eagles. And honestly, I'm not as optimistic now as to their chances to make the Final Four. And definitely, I don't think they have a chance to contend anymore. The injuries just hurt. You saw it here. Yung Jared Bae was way less than 100%. He was being used off ball. He didn't want to be aggressive. He didn't want to shoot much. There's obviously still confidence issues with that left shoulder yung that was injured. But the biggest injury to me, the biggest absence was Divine Adili.
Yep.
I think it's pretty obvious if you watch the game. Bo Konate was having a field day in the paint. That's a result of having no Divine Adili. Kimani Ladi is having difficulty guarding centers because he's not a center. And that's maybe weighing on him on the offensive end, which is why he's not producing as much, which is why his shots are probably not falling. It's hard for a guy who's not used to guarding big guys to guard physical big dudes. And I don't know, I said this in the preseason, diba? Ateneo's, even way back in March, in Asia Basket, Ateneo's front line is hella thin. It's Divine Adili, Kimani Ladi, Kai Maniladi, and Josh Lazaro. That's their front court rotations. And then they fill it out with wings. Diba? Either si Drew Bongo or si Dom Escobar, you playing the power forward slot in small ball lineups.
We got to see Lars and Kyle Ong.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that later, Sammy.
Later.
We'll get there. And and I said this in the preseason, one injury to any of those three front court players and they are down in the mud. Mahirap na kung ma-injure isa sa mga front court players, and it came through. Divine Adili has been absent for the past 2 games, and it's been very difficult for the Ateneo Blue Eagles to close out games and even to get some separation because they can't control the paint. That's what's difficult. And I think you guys allude to it all the time. I think si Maui always alludes to it. But one of the most important positions in the UAAP is that FSA slot. You saw it with NU last season. They had no FSA since game 1 and they had difficulty grinding out wins because they cannot control the paint. I don't like Ateneo's chances anymore. Siguro nung after no UST game, despite the loss versus UP, okay lang, kaya pa the triple overtime loss against UST. Okay lang, lumalaban pa. You can see the semblance of a team that can compete. You could see that there was still talent. You see that they were complete in all positions and they had a rotation going. But now without Divine Adili and Hope, I don't know if he's gonna come back. Hopefully he does because they need him. Jared Bahay, I don't know when he's gonna be fully healthy. He definitely was not healthy here. But with those 2 injuries nagging, I'm not optimistic about Ateneo's chances for the Final Four and definitely not the finals. 4th at best that they can hope for. Mahirap na walang FSA and they are so thin up front. Yun ang reaction ko. I know some Ateneans who are watching this probably don't want to hear it, and we're Ateneans, but we have to be realistic. Mahirap na puro small ball lineups ang tina-throw out ng Ateneo doon. They're getting killed in the paint. Sammy.
Yeah, okay, while we wait for Maui, I love how you started with John Ray Pasaol, my baller of the first round. Yeah, you pretty much summed it up, yung LeBron-esque numbers. There's something different about John Ray this season na last season, I think yung mga drives to the basket, you mentioned, I think, when we talked about him as a baller, kaya naman niya yun last season eh. We know he can drive to the basket, he can take the contact, he can finish really well. Yung napansin ko with yesterday's game, and that's why he's the league leader in assists, he's like starting to see like guys get open when he drives to the basket. Yung gravity niya, 'di ba? Like there were like a couple of
Court
plays na
vision,
parang
Sammy.
yung court vision
Basketball IQ,
nag-develop
sobrang
niya.
nag-evolve.
Nag-evolve, correct. So there were like plays, I think 2 specific plays na parang he's mid-air and then he sees a better shot and mid-air parang he'll just spin and like throw the ball to Mongkopa under, or I think merong isang time during the zone na siya yung nasa gitna and he was the one playmaking dun sa gitna. So that's what I've parang noticed from John Ray na parang wala siyang ganyan last season. So for me, he stood out against Ateneo. Going back to what you said, what you mentioned earlier, actually, ang sinasabi ni Maui is the two most important positions. It's the FSA, aka the center, and the point guard. And if you look at the two teams yesterday, FEU had that. Mo Kaunate and John Ray pa sa all. Ateneo were missing those guys. You had an injured Jared Bahay and you had a injured Divine Adili. And that was really the problem for Ateneo. They just couldn't match up with that. I do want to talk about another person for FEU, and I really think he's been a main difference maker dito sa FEU na to, especially with their hindi na siya winning streak, but their winning record against Ateneo the past 3 seasons. So they're now 5-1 against Ateneo in the past 3 seasons, going back to season 86. And I think the one big factor or common factor within all those games is Coach Gabby Severino, assistant coach Gabby Severino. It's not a coincidence that they started this winning streak or this winning record against Ateneo way back in season 86 when Coach Gabby Severino joined them. Actually, I did a quick Google research online before we went on to this podcast. In season 86, there was an article about him. It was the first time, I think, that a team swept the elimination round against a coach tab team. And back then, it was Coach Denok Miranda, and he credited assistant coach Gabby Severino for the win. I think si LJ Gonzalez hit like a couple of buzzer beaters nung time na yon. Shout out pala to Boss Matt Lee from Tiebreaker Times. He wrote that article. Last year, season 87, there's another article when FEU swept Ateneo again. This time it was Coach Sean Chambers. So another Tiebreaker Times article. Shout out to our friend Enzo. This time it was Coach Sean Chambers who said that Coach Gabby Severino was his right-hand man. He was his number 1 assistant coach last year. That's how much he respected Coach Gabby Severino and how much of an impact he had on Coach Sean Chambers, who was a rookie coach back then. This year, they lost the first round, but it was an overtime game. It was a close game, and now the curse is back for Ateneo. Shout out to Coach Gabby Severino. He has Coach Tab Ateneo's number. He has Coach's Tab number. This guy was a lifer for Ateneo. I think was part of the Ateneo team for, I don't know, almost like, I want to say, for the longest time. Di ko na, kahit time pa ni Norman Black, nandun na siya diba? So, I do want to give him a shout out. Coach Gabby Severino, kudos to you for always making FEU bring their A game, especially when it's against Ateneo. For siguro one last note for FEU, if it's a surprise to people that FEU and Ateneo games are always close or are close this season, if you look at I think yung Steam stats nila, they're actually pretty close in a lot of the stats. I think sa points scored, they're Ateneo's 4, FEU's 5. In points allowed, they're also, I think, baliktad. 5-4 or something like that. But basically, they're in pretty much neck and neck when it comes to offense and defense. So it's always a close game for FEU and Ateneo. Shout out to the FEU team. Maui, habang nandito ka, you want to say something before I go to
Oh my
Ateneo?
God. Grabe the internet. Sorry guys. But yeah, you guys pretty much hit on it. Shout out to John Ray. I think si John Ray is really playing out of his mind this season. Even I think against NBA players, si Coach Sean mentioned this in his press conference. I think si Kent Bazemore was amazed when they went up against him in Sacramento. I think nobody predicted this. Maybe si Coach Sean lang was the only guy who would know that si John Ray would be this good.
That's a good
I
point.
think I think the biggest thing that he has improved on is controlling his emotions, controlling his game.
Ooh.
Very calculated lahat ng movements ni John Ray. It wasn't like John Ray. If this was John Ray last year and playing like this, you'd probably be taunting 50% of the time. But we're seeing a different kind of genre and
To be fair, he's still taunting. Siguro
he's
around
still
mga 20% or 30% of the time na lang.
pag may 3-point play, that's an automatic or I think may steal and an easy basket. I think John Reyes done a pretty good job, but I think si Coach Sean deserves a lot of credit. The development
Mhm.
of the players of FEU. Si Konate has been so good. Si Gab mentioned, I was actually catching my breath when he injured his foot and ankle nung game. And yet, he was a warrior and he fought till the end of the game and even was probably the most crucial player outside Janre and Joric nung second half. I love si Kirby Moncopa, how he was so good nung first half. It sucks that FU fans will not see the dual wing of Pre and Moncopa. They look like they could have been championship contenders eventually. I don't know. FEU's at 3-5, so maybe we still see them make a run for their money this season. Again, it's a very tight race for the final four, so anything is still possible. I think the ball is in their hands. If they can beat the top teams, the top 4 teams or 5 teams, then maybe they could sweep. Much like they did with Ateneo, they could maybe sneak in into the final four, a la Adamson style in previous seasons. With Ateneo, I think I have to agree with Gab said. Maybe after some of the losses, you would be optimistic. But after this loss, it's a bit challenging to see if Ateneo has a ceiling, a huge ceiling for this season. The injuries to Jared Bahay and Adili has been so big. We talk about the most important positions in the UAAP. It's usually the FSA and the point guard slot. And it's a bit unfortunate for Ateneo that 2 of those people injured right now and who will have to play injured the whole season are the 2 most important slots. I love how si Escobar has developed his game throughout the season. You can see he has a better feel for the game talaga. And si Tuano continues to be a bright spot for Ateneo. Even Espina had a good game, but as an Ateneo fan, I said this to my family, to my friends. It's hard to be optimistic just because I think we've lost the higher ceiling that we could get this season. And it pains me to say that we might be similar to UE last season. You saw the potential in first round, but in the second
Aray.
round, everything hasn't been going good. I think it's more heartbreaking kasi Ateneo has been in close games in most of their games. If you look at the 4 losses, 3 out of 4 were definitely winnable games. I would say even this FU game was winnable. They were leading by a ton, but FU ended the game on a 10-1 run, I think. So as the old Ateneo saying says, we just have to believe. We just have to keep on believing. We just have to keep on cheering. I think there's still a lot of things to be proud of and to be optimistic about. A lot of these players outside the one and dones will be here next season, and you can see the development of their games. Si Tuano and Espina and maybe si Espino.
Okay, nawala si Maui. Gab, you were going to say something.
Yeah, I was gonna say something about silver linings because I know we've been pretty down on the Ateneo Blue Eagles in so far in this episode, and how can we not be? They've they've been stuck at 4 wins ever since we celebrate. I think sabi kasi
Binati mo kasi Gab sabi mo, we're at the same, we have the same wins as last season. Ever since you said that, hindi na nanalo, Gab. I blame you. I blame you for this.
Sorry. But we're still supporting through the jerseys, In our hearts, we still bleed blue. But yeah, I was gonna say there are still silver linings for the Ateneo Blue Eagles. I think the play of Ian Espinosa has been a silver lining. He played spectacularly in the NU game. Played exceptionally. Yes, he missed that free throw, and Ateneo fans just try to ding on him for that. But he's been playing really well.
Mm-hmm.
In this game, I thought he played exceptional as well. Now the efficiency is not there, but the playmaking, the defense was still there. The setting up of the plays still there. Again, if you expect Jared Bae from him, please temper your expectations. He's not that. Okay, he's a backup guard and he's playing that role pretty well despite having no Jared Bae. Another silver lining is Lars Fielvang. I think he should get more minutes. I'm not sure what the two of you guys think. Showed off an outside stroke.
Hit the three. Yeah.
Hit the three. Almost banked in another one. He's a big body. And Ateneo needs big bodies right now. Again, their front line is just so thin without Divine Adili. Wala he has to play. I think if you're making a choice between Lars and Kyle Ong, I think you gotta go with Lars. From what I've seen, I think he's better right now as a freshman. He's better right now than Kyle Ong. And Kyle Ong is a veteran. But Lars has to play. He's a big body. He can grab rebounds. He can defend. He just has... I think you have to develop him right now. If I was Coach Tab, I would start to develop Lars Fielvang right now. Yes, he's gonna be rough.
Fast track mo na yung development niya, no?
Oh, like Sam, I think he had 3 quick fouls.
Start him with Ladi. Para Ladi doesn't have to defend the FSE.
Actually, Maui, tama yun. I would do that. I will start him along with kay Manny Ladi. So that Ladi is not exhausted from guarding bigs. Diba? And I don't know. That's a silver lining for me. Waki Espina finally got out of his 3-game slump, and he was slumping bad for 3 games. Finally, his shots are falling, and he was aggressive in this game. There are some things to be hopeful for, and it's not yet over. For Ateneo fans who are disappointed, for Ateneo fans who are grieving, it's not yet over. There are 6 games left, and I encourage
Sabi
them
ni
to
Maui,
watch.
magic number is 8. So maybe they need to go 4-2.
Baka 7 pa this season, to be honest.
Baka less pa, Sammy.
Or 6.
To be honest.
With how close it has been.
Yeah, I think less. Given how crazy the standings look, just look at the difference between the 4th seed team, which is LaSalle at 4-3, and the top seed teams 5-2. That's just one game. One game separates number 1 from number 4. 1.5 separates number 5 from number 1. So malayo pa. Okay, so I do want to give a little bit of hope. And to FEU fans and to FEU supporters, you have a lot to be hopeful for. If this is the way it's gonna play for the next couple of games, I think they have a shot. They definitely do. Ako, ang worry ko lang is mag-breakdown yung katawan ni Mo Konate. If that happens, I think they are done. Same as with
Miguel Ona show.
Yeah, same as with Ateneo. Their front line is thin. Actually, it's thinner because it's just him and Kirby Moncopa who man the front line, and siguro sinisingit mo lang ng konti si Miguel Ona for a few minutes, but any injury to Mo Konate would be devastating to FEU. So pray for that. Kinabahan talaga ako when he grabbed his ankle twice in one game. Like, oh no, please no. I don't want more injuries.
Parang he fell on the floor diba? Yung bandang dulo.
Oh, and he was in pain. He was grasping his face pa nga. I think he was, then got up and then he was fine. He was still grasping his leg after that.
Parang non-contact.
Yeah.
I think that's more scary.
Yeah, yun din eh. So hopefully everything's fine. They need him. If there's one team who desperately needs their FSA to compete, it is FEU because Mo Konate leads the league in minutes. He plays so much of the game, and kung wala siya, wala na silang matangkad. Si Miguel Ono na yung next, and Miguel Ono's like what, 6'5", 6'6"? So yun, they just have to pray that Mo Konate's body holds up because the minutes don't look good. I mean, we've seen the Tom Thibodeau style results in the NBA many times. His players break down pagdating ng playoffs. Hopefully, that does not happen to Mo Konate. Sammy?
Yeah, I think for me, I asked you when we started, ano yung feeling mo no with the loss. It hurts if you're an Ateneo fan, pero man, you have to be happy for FEU. Like, you just have to be happy for FEU because not a lot of people expected a lot, especially after losing VJ Pre for this season. But they're fighting. They have a chance. You said it. It's pretty close yung standings nila. Si Maui nag-freeze na. I'm excited. What a way to start the second round with a back-to-back bangers from Ateneo versus FEU and the next game that we're going to talk about. UP versus NU. But before that, Maui, any last words habang nandiyan ka? I think medyo naputol ka kanina when you were talking about FEU Ateneo. Wala na. Okay, sige. Wala nang mic si Maui. Sige.
Ang hirap. Side comments na lang. Ang hirap. But I think you guys mentioned naman what I was trying to say mostly. But siguro I'll say lang yung what I felt. Heartbreaking. But at the end of the day, as Gab mentioned, there's still 6 games with the way the standings are right now. Anything's still possible. It might not be good that si Bahay and Adili are injured, but who knows? Other people are starting to step up. Diba, who would have thought si Espinosa and Felvang would be this type of important to Ateneo?
Yeah, I love it. Lars Fielvang. Let's get him more minutes. Okay, let's talk about...
Just one last note on Lars. He has one face throughout the game. Like when he commits a foul, his face is the same. When he scores a basket, his face is the same. It's like he has no expression. It's like a
game
poker
face. Yun yung
like game face on siya yung all throughout. Just a funny note about Lars. So hopefully we see more of Lars Fielvang in the next couple of games for Ateneo. So okay, let's move on to NU versus UP. Sammy.
Yeah, let's talk about NU versus UP. UP once again beating NU in the second round. So now NU, you mentioned.
Do you mean NU beating NU?
So you mentioned NU is now 5-2. So the top 2 teams are tied at 5-2. NU and UST. This is the team that Ateneo is going to face next. It's going to be NU versus Ateneo, FEU versus UP. Let's talk about that game. Now, they didn't have that bad of a fourth quarter. And I think the fourth quarter was actually good. But Gab, I think you mentioned this.
First quarter naman.
Quarter ng NU nung first round, napunta naman nun sa first quarter. Talk about that first quarter ng NU versus UP.
Definitely the total opposite of the first round encounter between UP and NU. In the first round, NU was the one up big until UP made a run in the third quarter to eventually snatch the win away, and NU choked in the final quarter and could not buy a bucket. In this game, sa first quarter sila, they couldn't buy a bucket at all. that 3-2 zone defense that UP was throwing out definitely disrupted the NU Bulldogs. They could not get any action to fall. They did not know how to attack that zone defense in the first quarter. And UP, actually, they were not outstanding offensively, but they were getting the shots that they wanted of their offense. And you just couldn't get anything to fall until, I think, until a Mark Parks corner 3, which was their first field goal. That was what? Around 6 minutes into the game. I would say, I'm trying to remember, but yeah, a Mark Parks 3-pointer from the corner, that was their first field goal. And I honestly thought it would be a blowout. Doon pa lang sa akala ko,
it looked that bad.
It looked that bad. They couldn't get anything to fall. They were sloppy. They were turning the ball over like crazy. They didn't look like they were in the game, the NU Bulldogs. And even into the second quarter, it didn't look good. Again, they scored a few buckets. They were trying to fight back, but I think UP had their number. But then I have to give credit to the NU Bulldogs. They fought back in the third quarter. Total opposite. Again, I think they came out late out of halftime. I'm not sure if it was them or UP who came out late from the dugout. Siguro naghanap ng Starbucks tumbler si Coach Jeff.
Pabili pa. Nasa labas
Pabili
yun
pa siya.
Nasa labas yun eh.
Yung parang batayin na niya sa mga locker, I don't know, just to get the message across to this NU team. And they definitely came out more aggressive, especially defensively. They were aggressive on the defensive end starting the third quarter. They obviously got a message in the dugout that we can't get punked like this again. And they definitely clawed back. Actually, paonti-onti. The lead was still big until NU just kept on clawing their way back. I actually thought that they would pull this off. Even if Harold Alarcon, grabe si Harold Alarcon, in that fourth quarter, even if Harold Alarcon was dominating the fourth quarter, NU was still in this game. And I think the turning point was that 4-point swing on the Jolo Manansala foul. Diba? To those who, I think this was a big talking point in a lot of social media circles. A loose ball between Jolo Manansala and Raylan Torres. Jolo Manansala recovered basketball. Jake Figueroa eventually threw it forward to Debol Garcia, who got a layup, but no one heard the whistle. Apparently, there was a foul. Then there was a long review. I think
Another really long
review. I think it
I
took
can't
like
believe we keep getting really long reviews this season. Parang hindi naman ganito last season eh.
Oh, and then I actually questioned what the review was for, because they called something on the floor. So one official actually knew what the call was, but then they went to the review monitor to do what? To confirm what the other guy called? That was weird. Why they reviewed it, I don't get it. And kahit si Diego Dario on the call did not know what the review was about. Again, frustrating. But yeah, that was a weird call. I found that call really weird. Again, the refs didn't know what they called. No one knew what they called. And then we find out the basket had been nullified, and the foul was actually on Jolo Manansala on a loose ball. I think it was because natamaan niya yung jaw ni Raylan Torres when he was trying to get up. But Raylan Torres was on his heel. So Jolo Manansala was the one tripped. I don't get that. So that eventually, I think it resulted in a Gani Stevens layup or
Gani Stevens layup.
Put back. So that was a 4-point swing, and I think that eventually turned the game in favor of UP, and because I think that would have put the lead down to 3, a 1-possession game, and I think that would have been the closest that NU would have gotten at that point. But after that, wala. And I did mention him earlier. Grabe si Harold. I think finally we're seeing The Harold Alarcon we've been waiting for.
This is the Harold Alarcon
Baka
game.
mabati na naman natin.
Baka mabalik naman natin. But again, Harold one-on-one just channeled, I said, I think I posted it. He channeled his inner Kobe. Those were Kobe shots. Really, yung mga fadeaways niya, yung getting to his spot, and when he was doubled, I think a no-look pass to Gani Stevens for a layup. Just doing everything in that fourth quarter. I think it's clear now that he is their number one offensive option. Remogat
should be.
Remogat, I'm sorry. This was supposed to be your team, I think. But Terence Fortea has just played much better than him. Even in this game, Terence Fortea was playing much better than Noy Remogat. I'm not sure. Did Terence Fortea get more minutes? I think he did.
Mas marami si Remogat, but more or less the same. 2-minute difference.
Split. Yeah, it's like a split. Pero you see the positive effect that Terence Fortea has. I think he's a better defender than Ray Remogat. Ray Remogat just, I don't know. He had 11 points, 5 rebounds and 3 assists, but when you watch him, it's like this is not the Ray Remogat that we're used to seeing. And I do hope that he finally gets his groove. Sana magsabay sila ni Alarcon to have a big game just like in the Ateneo game. Talaga yung pang Ateneo lang, no? but I don't know. But definitely for me, si Harold na yung number one option. I don't think they should do away with that. I think they found something with the high pick and roll with him and Gani. So kudos to Harold. I think he's finally taken that step. It took us 3 seasons. We called this like two or three off seasons ago. Na he's gonna break out in this season. It's gonna be the next big thing. But finally,
natin siya una sa KBL, di ba?
Akala natin siya yung unang makakuha sa KBL. But it took a while, but it's finally here. The Harold Alarcon breakout is finally here. Hopefully, it continues. It looks like it's gonna continue because honestly, yung high pick and roll looks to be a pretty solid option for UP. So, on NU's part, I just have to admire the fight. And Jake Figueroa. Grabe yung mga talon ni Jake Figueroa yung from rebounds.
Hindi ko lang makita yung ba yun? Yung lumipad siya?
Sammy, it wasn't only once. It was like 3 or 4 times na yung ni-replay yung rebound. I don't know what the name of the sponsor. I think it was the Converge Fiber X rebound of the game or something like that. Tapos
maybe his future team.
Yeah, maybe. but yung makita mo yung lipad ni Jake Figueroa and he jumps even higher than the jump of Gani Stevens. Grabe. I'm like, what the hell? He's jumping so high for those rebounds. Crazy. But he definitely tried to will this team back into this game. Kinulang lang talaga. Kahit si Raylan Torres, I think si Raylan Torres was his primary defender in their first round. But in this game, Raylan Torres couldn't do much against Jake Figueroa. MVP season. Ibang klase. 18, 10, and 6 with 1 steal and 2 blocks. It's continuing. His all-around numbers. I do have to give a shout-out also to PJ Palacelo. I think he was a big part of the comeback. Scoring in the paint. I think he got injured in this game, so
hurt his ankle.
Yeah, he hurt his ankle, but he came back. Hopefully, he's fine for the next game. But definitely, he was part of this comeback, and hopefully, he plays on Sunday against Ateneo. As much as that pains me to say as an Atenean, but I do hope we see PJ there. The rest of the team, medyo rough eh. Si Tebol, the point guards did not show up today. Si Paul Francisco actually was
crazy again.
Yeah.
5 steals.
5 steals, was the primary defender along with Jello Santiago on Aaron Alarcon. He was getting cooked, but I think he came out with the defensive intensity in that third quarter that allowed NU to come back. Mark Parks also, I think, played really well off the bench, hit 2 big threes. Again, part of the defensive intensity that NU brought in the third quarter. Despite this loss, I still have them as one of my contenders. I think they showed something better in this game than what they did in the first round encounter with UP, because that has always been my fear, that when they encounter UP, they're gonna falter and they're gonna go through these droughts that we've seen them go through for so long already. But this game showed me that they can answer the call, that they can get out of those punks, that they can actually generate offense against a tight UP defense. So at least those are the positives for the NU Bulldogs. They're still up there for me, but the standings, they definitely became more interesting. Maui, go ahead.
Yeah, actually, I was looking at the box score. I'm surprised si Humamoy pala didn't play. Was he injured during the game?
I'm not sure.
But I want to say si Tebol Garcia, despite having 5 turnovers, was pretty impressive. Going up against this UP perimeter defense, him and Francisco have really surprised me a lot. I think si Paul Francisco, complete breakout. I think he's a very important part of what NU is trying to do. I love the energy. I love how he gets a lot of steals, gets into fast break. Could have been crazy if he was the one to get them back in the game for the second game in a row. But si Figueroa, I think Japan and Korea are going to be knocking on his doors. I love his versatility. He's probably 32.0 for me in the UAAP, but more consistent on a game-to-game basis. Kasi we all know si 30, he was just waiting for the finals but wasn't a beast, diba, the whole season. For UP, si Alarcon, you have to call out si Alarcon. Pretty good. Has been probably the best player sa UP the past games or so. I think he has established himself as the alpha dog. I think another person that is very important is si Gary Stevens, who people, I don't know, some people have been hating on social media. But I love the development of Gary Stevens. I love how he continues to fight. I love how he has chemistry with Alarcon on that high pick and roll. And I think he's probably one of the most important players sa UP. We talk about Mike Phillips having to match up against FSAs. You have Gary Stevens, who has done that, has proven also in the past sa UE and even now sa UP on both ends of the floor that he's capable of matching up with FSAs. I don't think people understand that value, having a local player that can match up with an FSA. Championship teams in the UAP have always had that. When you have that player, chances are you have a big chance to win a championship. It was the recipe of Ateneo when they had Isaac Go. And it was the recipe of UP when they had QMB. And it has been the recipe of LaSalle for winning and contending the past few seasons with Mike Phillips. Gary Stevens might not be as sparkling or as flashy as all of those other guys, but he's just as important in my opinion. And I think I'm happy to say that new development niya in UP has been very good because we haven't seen that much development from the likes of like Alter, who struggled to stay on the floor. And I don't know, si Gagate will see soon. Pablo has shown sa LaSalle, but you can credit both ways. So this is a bit of a success story for UP. So yeah, I still think that NU will have to prove to us, despite finishing the first round number 1, that they are the number 1 team despite being at 6-2. And I think history is the reason why that's important, because they've been in this situation in the past. They've been number 1s, they've been number 2, with tries to beat advantage only to falter at the end of the eliminations. So I think if you were an NU fan, you'd probably have to circle the game against LaSalle, the game against UST, and maybe the game against Ateneo. They have to show us that they are consistent enough to beat the top teams, not just in the first round. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's why crucial to see PJ Palacielo on Sunday. Hopefully, that ankle or that foot is going to be okay. Kasi against a small Ateneo, he can cook. PJ Palacielo can cook against the smaller team. You guys mentioned it. I think the top two guys that stood out yesterday, Jake Figueroa and Harold Alarcon. Yung fourth quarter na yun, I think when they started out the fourth quarter, they were like trading baskets. I thought
they were.
That
it
was
Jake
amazing.
Figueroa versus Harold Alarcon.
Diba?
I remember that.
Or if they were not trading baskets, they were making plays for their other teammates. I think that was also the Gani Stevens no-look pass. I was hoping all throughout the fourth quarter, I would see that. Just, you know what? Dapat nag-usap na lang yung dalawang coaches. O sige, let's just let Jake Figueroa, Harold Alarcon cook, and then let's just let them decide who will win this game. Because I would have paid to see that game. They were that good. A note on Jake Figueroa, he did not start the game that well. Well, none of the NU players started the game
No one
well.
did, Sammy. I think he had one point for
he want
the
one
first
point.
5 minutes of this game.
Exactly. So, I still can't believe na he still had an efficient game. 6 of 13 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, couple of blocks. Grabe. Siguro this is, I would say, one of the Boleros MVP race. One of the tightest, if we were to talk about the Boleros MVP race. Because you have guys like Jake Figueroa, Nick Cabanero. You talked about John Ray Pasool. They've all been so good this year. And it shows, no, yung teams nila, well, at least for Jake and for Nick, their teams are in the top 2 for the UAAP. So, I can't wait to see more Jake Figueroa versus Harold Alarcon. I hope this is not the last time they see each other. They could potentially face each other again in the finals or the Final Four. One random note lang on UP Harold Alarcon. May lumabas din na meme or picture. I think like on social media. Yung parang NU still won the game, and then may picture ni Alarcon, ni Torres, ni sino isang guard nila,
Felicilda.
ni Abadiano, and then ni Felicilda.
Yung kaya nga sabi ko sa iyo, it's NU versus NU eh.
It's NU versus NU nga. But whoever made that meme, how dare you
forget about Mix
miss
Palangka?
out Terence Forte. Well, actually, Miguel Palanca should also be there. But how dare you miss out on Terence Forte?
Grabe yung
You
dunk
only
niya.
showed the 4 guys.
Grabe, yung dunk ni Palangka. Nagulat ako na.
Yung ang taas pala niya tumalon, no? Dunk attempt.
Guys, ganito siya sumikat. Kaya sumikat si
I was
Miguel
shocked.
Palanca.
I was shocked.
Yung
Parang-
dahil sa dunks niya. Sa palarong pambansa, he was the darling of the vloggers. When he was
I
dunking all
didn't
over the
know.
place. He was the darling of the vloggers. Kaya sumikat si Miguel Palanca. Siguro another funny note yung from this game, there was a play where Jake Figueroa hit a 3, pero before na-inbound yung bola, parang nag-switch at nagtutalakan si Jolo Manansala and I forgot kung si Mark Belmonte yun, si Jerry
This is
Abadiano.
to end the third. Tama.
Yeah, to end the third quarter, there was this whole scuffle between Jolo. He was trying to push away si Jerry Abadiano, his former teammate. Then Jerry Abadiano was trying to switch or trying to tell Mark Belmonte to get Jolo Manansala. And in that confusion, Jake Figueroa was just on the top of the key, like, start na yung play, I'm wide open. And when the play started, he just got the ball near the left wing, wide open, shot the 3. And then, I think si Mark Belmonte and si Abadiano were looking at each other like, what? What the hell are you two of you doing? Pero smart play for Jolo Manansala, in fairness, for the pushing and the confusion which led to the wide open 3 by Jake Figueroa.
And I'm glad you mentioned that play kasi in the past seasons, Jake Figueroa would have never taken that shot. Ibang level
I
yung
told you,
three-point shooting
yung
niya
sa
this
Boris
season.
and Baleros, iba yung confidence niya yung this season, yung taking the three. Might not have, he's not shooting it at a good percentage. Actually, within career norms, yung kanyang 25 to 30% shooting from
But the volume has increased.
The volume has increased, which goes to show me that he has confidence taking it. And that's gonna go a long way. Alam mo kasi he's a good free throw shooter. So I think the increasing of his percentage from 3-point range is there. I think with a little more work, he can get there.
So I wanted to mention that because I think Maui, you mentioned that 2 preseasons ago na sabi mo, you can start to see Jake Figueroa developing that 3, and if he starts hitting that more or gets more confident, that would take his game to the next level. So shout out to you, Maui.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sam, can I say something? One last thought.
Yeah.
I think ang masakit lang if you're an NU fan, to me, if you look at the 2 games, I think they won 6 out of 8 of those quarters. I think that's what makes it painful. Yun ang mabigat when you talk about these 2 games against UP. They could have won the first game easily. This second game naman, they came up short. They basically lost the game in the first quarter. And I think if they are more consistent, if they don't have quarters where they throw basically the game, we can fully say that they are without a doubt a title contender. Yun lang.
Yung frustrating part lang sa akin ng game na to was that when UP was throwing out that extended 3-2 zone, it took them so long to figure out that they just had to attack the middle. They just had to find a way to get the ball to the middle and attack from there. They did it in the third quarter. I think part of the adjustments no halftime. Pero ako, Coach Jeff or the coaching staff, why did it take you so long to adjust to that zone defense? They were trying to that zone was trying to deny the pass to the corner. And NU was trying to repeatedly pass it to the corner. I'm like, bro, stop trying to pass it to the corner. Start attacking that middle. You get it into the middle, attack from there. It worked in the third quarter. It took him long to adjust, but they eventually adjusted. But yeah, they can't have more of those quarters. Yung tama si Maui, when they're virtually a 0 on offense, where droughts. We've seen NU have these droughts before. It's not pretty to watch. I would like to recall that the past 2 lowest scoring games for 2 seasons happened in an NU game versus FEU. We know they can struggle offensively. And if they want to win the championship and if they want to get the hurdle over UP, they have to stop getting those droughts. They have to find a way to generate offense and to adjust as soon as a different look is given to them. Yun lang. Yun na rin yung frustration ko actually in the first round game. In the fourth quarter, Coach Jeff Napa was not adjusting to how NU was defending them. Yes, they were trying to disrupt the main ball handler with Steve Nash. And Coach Jeff Napa was running the same play all over again. Like, make somebody else bring up the ball. Have Steve Nash go off ball. Have Jake Figueroa go off ball. Diba? So, definitely some quicker adjustments are needed if they want to beat these top teams. But I have no doubt that they have the talent. I have no doubt. I've seen them beat LaSalle. I've seen them beat UST, Adamson, Ateneo. I think they are for real. I hope I'm not jinxing it. I jinxed Ateneo. I hope I'm not jinxing NU. But I hope it's for real because the way Jake Figueroa...
NU is back!
NU is back!
Talagang itong yung mga Atenista, NU is back bigla para mag-jinx.
I hope I'm not jinxing it because the way Jake Figueroa is playing is making me root for him. On a note lang again, on Tebol Garcia, yes, I think he was impressive for stretches in this game. He had a crucial turnover when I think the lead was down to 3 or 4.
Yeah.
When he passed it to Omar John, but Omar John was not looking at him.
Yeah.
And then it resulted into a Harold Alarcon N1.
Yeah.
I
think he was subbed out after that.
He was subbed out immediately after that. Like, no.
And then,
classic Coach Jeff.
Na yung jersey niya eh. Parang, oh my God, what did
and
this do?
Jeff Napa on the sidelines turned around, then was on the LED screen. Gano'n na lang siya. Parang, anong ginawa mo, Tebol?
Wala siyang choice eh. Wala si Humamoy. I think they could have used Reinhard. Like,
yep.
Sayang.
So, yun lang yung mga random notes ko from the game.
Yeah, I think that's it. Another thing, medyo nagulat ako. I thought baka mag-away si Jake Figueroa at si Gani Stevens. There was a scuffle. Tapos biglang nag-appear sila eh, diba? Natamaan si Gani sa face.
Got a clean block but eventually landed on, I think, Gani's face. I thought that they were gonna do it. Sabi, tapos bilang, okay lang, appear. Yung good
appear. Panic yung ref eh, kasi
yung
that's Gani Stevens and Jake Figueroa. Those, like, Jake is not as big as Gani Stevens, pero he's strong. And you can see how high he jumps. So, those two are, like, really strong dudes. So, medyo parang, whoa. Pero, buti na lang, cooler heads prevail, diba? Appear na lang sila.
Funny moment.
That was a funny moment for me. I think that's it, Maui. I'm not even gonna ask you for, like, a closing statement. Dahil alam kong your Wi-Fi is struggling. Let's end it with that. That's it for today's episode. We have more games this coming weekend. We'll
UST versus
cover
LaSalle
those.
on Saturday.
UST versus LaSalle, which is a big one. We'll cover those this weekend. If you haven't yet, please comment down below. Share this video with your friends. Subscribe. We'll see you again next time. Good luck sa internet ni Maui. Bye-bye.